Where is the line between protecting public health and protecting racial justice? The Biden administration is currently trying to figure it out, and it's all because of menthol cigarettes. In 2022, the FDA proposed a ban on menthol cigarettes in an effort they believed would reduce health disparities. Biden has delayed taking the FDA's advice. The reality is that an estimated 85% of Black smokers prefer menthols, and Black men in particular are at a disproportionate risk of smoking-related lung cancer and death. But some advocates and lawmakers rightfully stress that they're also at a disproportionate risk of being racially targeted and over-policed should any such ban take effect. While the FDA recommendations are clear, following them directly would ignore the intersectionality of public health and racial justice, given the potential unintended consequences. To truly get this issue right, it will require painstaking work on understanding what led us to where we are today and how we can use evidence-based, compassion-first approaches instead. Getting it wrong could mean a Warren joke-style approach of trying to police out menthol cigarettes with potentially disastrous effects, both on the ground and in Biden's attempt to address the very real public health issue. Prominent Black advocates and community organizations fear that a menthol ban pulls from the same war on drugs playbook that would not only lead to aggressive over-policing in Black communities, but also fail to make menthol cigarettes, or the demand for them, disappear. Images of Eric Garner, who was placed in a fatal chokehold while getting arrested for selling loose cigarettes, certainly come to mind. Others argue that the fears are over-exaggerated and being co-opted by the tobacco industry. With shared concerns about health in mind, even law enforcement organizations, along with other criminal legal reform and civil rights organizations, are decrying the proposed bans on menthols. It is no secret that the tobacco industry has disproportionately targeted and profited off of Black communities for decades. There needs to be a conversation about how to account for that. However, there are better approaches to the goal of preventing or reducing menthol cigarette use that will not inadvertently facilitate an underground market, which in of itself carries public health and criminal legal consequences that will certainly impact Black people at a higher rate. We need to invest in continued education and awareness about its dangers. We need to impose more stringent advertisement restrictions, and we need to fund tobacco harm reduction and other incentives that encourage cessation and help people change their behaviors and habits. For its part, the FDA has reiterated that the ban would not be enforced on the streets. Rather, the focus would be on the distributors, making it illegal to produce menthol cigarettes, but not to possess or use existing supplies of them. It noted in its recommendation that under the proposed ban, roughly 650,000 deaths could be avoided in a 40-year span. The Biden administration has delayed a final verdict on the matter until March. Regardless, this issue as a whole highlights how complicated it is to address substance use, regulation, and racial disparities in health. It gets even more difficult when factoring in protecting civil liberties, being compassionate, and the limitations of tools like total prohibition, which many see as a relic of the failed drug war. In the end, no one is arguing that menthols are not harmful to one's health. They are. But how we encourage action on that has to be compassionate, respectful of autonomy, and focused on meeting people where they are with tangible support.